Hi, this is Anaya. Welcome to the channel. I'll first give thanks to the Most High for all of our blessings and allowing this time. Today's message will be about Passover and different times to look at for possible redemption. First of all, most people think Passover was to recognize the times that Jesus came, died, and was raised, but actually it goes back to the Old Testament, when the Black Plague or death passed over the houses of Israel and took the firstborn of anyone who didn't have the blood of the Lamb on their doorpost. That was the only plague out of the 10 plagues God sent that made the Pharaoh release Israel from the Egyptian bondage, mentioned in Exodus 12:13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. Exodus 12:27, 29, and 33. That you shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people, that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, We be all dead men. And when we left in the fast pace that we did, we had no time to let our bread ferment or rise. So it is why we observe the feast of unleavened bread in these times. Exodus 12:36 and 38. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians, meaning they took what they needed for provisions. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. It says in the Bible more times than not that we are to observe and proclaim the times. Leviticus 23:4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. Deuteronomy 16:1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Leviticus 23:5 and 6. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. As far as sacrificing or burnt offerings goes, we're not required to do according to Jeremiah 7:22 and 23. It states, For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. But this thing I commanded them, saying, Obey my voice, and I'll be your God, and you shall be my people, and walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. In Deuteronomy 16:1 and Leviticus 23:5, the Bible states, The first month of the Hebrew New Year is known as the month of Abib. Also it is known as Nisan, as it is written in Esther 3:7. It is in alignment with the modern-day Passover celebrated on Abib 14 in the end of March. If you Google Bible's Strong's Concordance and the word month together, it'll take you to the Strong's Hebrew number 2320. It means new moon and a month. Psalms 104:19, it mentions, He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down. With the new moon likely being the first day of the Hebrew month, and with March's new moon falling on March 13th, that means March 13th is the Hebrew New Year, Abib 1. So that would put Passover Abib 14 on March 26th. And this coincides with the Revelation 12 sign, which is a prophetical belief that the astronomical alignment, which was on September 23rd, 2017, fulfilled the first 2 verses of Revelation 12, which read, And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and a moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. If you use time and date calculator on timeanddate.com, you'll see that from that date on September 23rd, 2017 to Passover on March 26th this year, there are exactly 42 months and 3 days. The Bible tells us about the significance of the 42 months, or the 3.5 years, in the following verses. Revelations 11:2. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 40 and 2 months. In Revelations 12:14, it spoke of a woman being nourished from the face of the serpent for a time and times and a half a time. A time represents a year, and times represent 2 years, and the dividing of times, or half a time, is a half a year. That is 3.5 years, or 42 months. Revelations 13:5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 months. Daniel 12:11. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. That's approximately 42 months and 13 days. That would take us to April 5th from the Revelation 12 sign. That's a day after Easter. However, the modern Jews celebrate their New Year in September in the 7th Hebrew month of Tishri. The day is called Rosh Hashanah, or Feast of Trumpets. It's a 10-day penitence towards the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, that follows a few days later. It is mentioned in Numbers 29:1 to make an atonement for sin, but not as a new year. 29:1. And in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. It is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you. And in Leviticus 23:27, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. There is no mention of the New Year there either. Clearly, there is a distinct difference in the holy day's time of observance from the past to modern times, because it is written in Deuteronomy 16:1 and Leviticus 23:5 and 6 that the beginning of months, or Hebrew New Year, is Abib, and Passover shortly following after. It is strange that they celebrate their modern Jewish New Year in Tishri, the 7th Hebrew month, which is in September. But it doesn't surprise me. It just reminds me of the following verses, Revelations 2:9 and 3:9, when it speaks about those who claim to be us and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. In Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and a dividing of times. If you know what this world is, nothing should surprise you. The springtime makes more sense for the new beginnings and a new year, plus it is in alignment with all the other dates. Isaiah 18:5, for the harvest, when the bud is perfect, and the sour grape is ripening in the flower, he shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks, and take away and cut down the branches. Matthew 24:31 through 33. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When its branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors, possibly our redemption or second Exodus. In Daniel 12:12 it says, Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. That would take us to this year on May 20th from the Revelation 12 sign. On May 20th in 1940, the first prisoners arrived at concentration camps in German-occupied Poland. Also on May 20th in 1873, blue jeans were patented and invented by two guys named Jacob and Levi. Ironically, it is the same names of Jacob, one of our forefathers, and his son Levi, one of the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. You can go to timeanddate.com and calculate dates to dates under the Calculators tab. And you can also check things that happen on dates as well under the Calendar tab on this day in history. I don't know what the significance of those things are, but they do tie in with the dates and into everything else, since we did talk about bondages, Passover, the Exodus of the house of Israel. The house of Israel was redeemed around this time in history according to the Bible. Some people went into bondage on this time in history, May 20th, 1940 to be precise, as I just mentioned. Maybe the Most High will set his hand a second time on May 20th this year to recover his chosen remnant. It is the end of the 1335 days from the Revelation 12 sign. That was on September 23rd, 2017. And remember, Daniel said, Blessed is he that waiteth to the end of the 1335 days. So that will be all for now. I thank you for listening. May the Most High forgive, heal, guide, protect, and bless the true seeds and our loved ones. In Yah's name I pray. Shalom.